Two hooded figures flee through the wealthy neighborhood of Woodland Hills, California. The time is 4:53 p.m. on January 23, 2017. The blood on their hands is still wet. Behind them, in the yard of a multi-million-dollar home, a famous hairstylist bleeds out on his patio, stabbed repeatedly in the neck, face, and chest. At that very moment, his teenage daughter drives home from school, unaware she will soon discover a nightmare that will torment her forever. This is the story of Fabio Cementilly, a charismatic Italian immigrant who built a beauty empire. But more than that, it's a story of ultimate betrayal. A tale of greed, obsession, and a cold-blooded murder planned by the person who should have loved him most. For true crime fans, don't miss our new book, The Ultimate Book of Serial Killers. 180 files of the world's most notorious murderers, available on Amazon. The PDF version is on our website for instant download. The link is in the description and a pinned comment. Now let's begin today's case. January 23, 2017. The 911 call came at 4:54 p.m. A teenage girl's voice, shaking with pure terror, pleaded to save her father. 16-year-old Isabella Cementilly had just come home to find her father, Fabio, in a pool of blood on the patio. The scene was brutal, showing multiple stab wounds. Paramedics rushed in, but Isabella's screams were for nothing. Fabio Cementilly, 49, was declared dead. Initially, it looked like a botched robbery. A neighbor's security camera had captured two hooded figures jogging toward the Cementilly home at 4:18 p.m. Fabio's black Porsche was gone, found abandoned 5 miles away with blood inside. But as investigators processed the scene, things didn't fit. Detective Ryan Wissenand of the LA County Sheriff's Department noted the details. Fabio's expensive Rolex was still on his wrist. His wallet was in his pocket. Nothing else was taken from the luxurious house. No ransacked drawers, no forced entry. The timing was surgically precise. At 4:18 p.m., the two figures were seen. At 4:53 p.m., the Porsche sped away. At 4:54 p.m., just 60 seconds later, Isabella pulled into the driveway. It was as if someone knew exactly when Fabio would be alone. 3 days after the murder, Monica Cementilly held a memorial for her husband. Friends and family gathered in the same backyard where Fabio was killed. Monica seemed destroyed, barely able to speak, repeating, "I'm not a wife anymore. I'm not a wife anymore." Her grief appeared all-consuming, but one person at the memorial was out of place. Monica's friend, Deborah Ord, noticed a stranger mingling with the family. He didn't fit, yet there he was, offering condolences, with a bandage on his left index finger. Ord was so disturbed she secretly took his photo and gave it to police. That picture would break the case wide open. The stranger was Robert Louis Baker. Investigators soon found his DNA in law enforcement databases. He was a registered sex offender. It matched the blood in Fabio's stolen Porsche. But who was Robert Baker, and why would he want Fabio dead? The answer revealed a web of lies, obsession, and betrayal spun over a year. Robert Louis Baker, 53, was not what he seemed. He was a racquetball coach at an LA Fitness, charismatic, confident, with an alpha male presence. But beneath the surface was a darker truth that in 1993, Baker was convicted of lewd acts with his teenage stepdaughter. After prison, he married the victim and both entered the adult film industry. By 2016, he was a fitness instructor, hiding his predatory past. That's when he met Monica Cementilly. Monica, 45, represented everything Baker wanted. She was elegant, sophisticated, and lived an affluent life. According to Baker, their affair started weeks after meeting at the gym in early 2016. Monica didn't know she was the obsession of a predator who had already ruined one family. Baker isolated her, convincing her to use encrypted apps and burner phones. Investigators found half of all Monica's communications were with Baker, more than with her husband and daughters combined. Monica's friend, Deborah Ord, grew suspicious in late 2016. She noticed Monica always at the gym with the same man. When Ord confronted her, Monica denied it. Ord warned Fabio, but he dismissed it, trusting his wife completely. He didn't know Baker was already planning his murder. In late 2016, Christopher Austin flew from Oregon to LA, his ticket paid for by Baker. Austin, 36, a parole officer, thought it was a casual visit. He had no idea he was being recruited for murder. Austin later testified that Monica invited them to dinner. She served pizza and gave a detailed tour of the house, especially the backyard patio where Fabio relaxed. It was reconnaissance disguised as hospitality. Around the same time, Monica upgraded their home security system, allowing her remote access from her phone. She could see when Fabio was home alone. Baker's preparations were more sinister. He bought GPS trackers and placed them on Fabio's cars, tracking his every move. Austin said Baker told him Monica was in an abusive marriage and wanted Fabio gone. He painted Fabio as controlling and violent. But Monica's daughter, Jessica, later shattered this story. She testified she once walked in on Baker in her mother's bed. This wasn't about rescue, it was about possession. Baker wanted Monica, her life, and her money. The financial motive was huge, a $1.6 million life insurance policy. Monica would get everything, no messy divorce. The planning was done. They just needed the right moment. January 22, 2017, the day before the murder, Monica texted Baker that Fabio was going to the store. According to Austin, this was their first murder attempt. They positioned themselves to intercept him, but Austin couldn't go through with it. Fabio returned home safely, unaware his wife had just tried to have him killed. Baker didn't give up. He told Austin about Monica's wealth, promising a new life after Fabio was gone. The plan was to make it look like a robbery, get the insurance money, and disappear. That night, Monica comforted her daughters, playing the devoted wife while already planning Fabio's funeral. The performance had started. The trap was set. January 23, 2017, the day that shattered multiple families. Monica's plan required perfect timing and an alibi. That afternoon, she left home, saying she was going to Target. Surveillance showed her truck entering the parking lot around 4:00 p.m. But before she entered the store, someone got into her vehicle. Prosecutors believe it was Baker, getting final instructions. Monica went inside, establishing her alibi while texting Baker the coast was clear. Baker got the signal and told Austin, "She's going to the store. We have a small window." Austin testified Baker put him in the trunk of a rented Nissan and drove near the Cementilly home. Baker handed Austin a knife and asked, "Are you with me?" Austin replied, "Yeah," and followed at 4:18 p.m. They jogged toward the house, captured on security cameras. Austin said Baker told him the front door would be unlocked. "She's going to leave the door open," he said. When asked who she was, Austin said, "The defendant." The door was unlocked, as planned. Fabio Cementilly was sitting peacefully on his patio after work. He was a vice president at Wella, a top beauty company, having built an empire through talent. He never saw them coming. Robert Baker stabbed Fabio multiple times in the neck, face, and chest. The attack was so violent Baker cut his own finger, the same one bandaged at the memorial. Fabio had no defensive wounds. He was taken completely by surprise. Baker and Austin fled in Fabio's Porsche, abandoning it 5 miles away. The timeline was perfect. At 4:53 p.m., the killers drove off. At 4:54 p.m., exactly 60 seconds later, Isabella pulled in. Isabella's screams echoed as she found her father and called 911. The operator guided her, but the wounds were too severe. He was gone. Monica arrived minutes later to a scene of police and ambulances. Her performance began immediately. When Monica's friend, Eliza Blue, arrived that evening, a stranger warned her, "Don't step in the blood." Monica seemed devastated, unable to form coherent sentences. "I'm not a wife anymore," she kept repeating. But while Monica publicly grieved, she privately celebrated. That night, with Fabio's body not yet cold, she asked about the life insurance. She wanted to know when the $1.6 million would come. Her priorities were clear. For months, Monica played the grieving widow while secretly continuing her affair with Baker. Police surveillance caught them on romantic trips to Las Vegas and Myrtle Beach. Monica introduced herself as Monica Baker. She was living the fantasy, funded by blood money. Monica called Detective Jean Purcell repeatedly, not for justice, but for updates on DNA and the insurance payout. She wasn't concerned with catching killers. She wanted her money. But investigators were watching, building their case. By February 2017, Robert Baker was the prime suspect. His DNA in the Porsche was undeniable. When questioned, Monica claimed she barely knew him, just Rob from the gym. Confronted with the blood evidence, she fabricated a story about hitting him with a racquetball racket and bringing a bloody towel home. It was absurd, and detectives didn't believe it. They conducted surveillance, documenting the lovers' continued relationship while Monica played the widow. The evidence mounted: encrypted communications, GPS trackers, and their ongoing romance. On June 14, 2017, police staged a sting. Monica and Baker were pulled over for a routine traffic stop, handcuffed, and placed in a police car equipped with recording devices. Their conversation was used against them. They were arrested and charged with conspiracy and first-degree murder. Monica was placed with an undercover officer posing as a cellmate. She confided, "He's not just my lover, he's my confidant. He's my everything." Even in jail, their twisted affair continued. In letters, she signed Mrs. Baker. In one, she wrote, "It kind of hurts to not be touched or D or licked or loved by you." In recorded calls, Baker told Monica, "I love you, baby." They planned their future while facing murder charges. The delusion was complete. The trial began with devastating testimony from Christopher Austin, who took a plea deal. He described the reconnaissance dinner, how Monica showed them the backyard. He recounted Baker's promises of insurance money. In a stunning twist, Robert Baker testified for the defense. He claimed Monica knew nothing of the plot, that he acted alone because he was obsessed with her. But prosecutors had overwhelming evidence. The GPS trackers, the unlocked door, the timed alibi, the insurance inquiries, the romantic trips. It all pointed to Monica as the mastermind. Deputy DA Beth Silverman argued the case was about betrayal. Monica had deceived everyone, orchestrating the murder. The prosecution highlighted Monica's behavior after the murder. She left her daughters at home, unconcerned about the burglars, because she knew who they were. Monica's defense argued she was guilty of stupidity, lying, and adultery, but not murder. He claimed she was a foolish woman manipulated by Baker. The jury had to decide. Was she a victim of obsession or the calculating mastermind? On April 11, 2025, after 8 hours of deliberation, the verdict was in guilty of first-degree murder and conspiracy, with special circumstances, carrying mandatory life without parole. On June 23, 2025, Monica Cementilly was sentenced to life in prison without parole. The judge stated, "I do find that the defendant was the mastermind in this conspiracy." Robert Baker had already been sentenced to life without parole. Christopher Austin received 16 years to life for his cooperation. Monica Cementilly traded 20 years of marriage, her family, and her freedom for a fantasy built on blood. Her daughters lost both parents. Fabio's son, Luigi, from a first marriage, keeps his father's Rolex, the one the killers left behind. It symbolizes what this case was never about: a robbery. It was about a woman who wanted everything and destroyed her family to get it. Fabio Cementilly built a beautiful life, mentoring stylists and loving his family. Scholarships now bear his name, continuing his legacy of kindness. His life was cut short at 49 by the person who knew him best, loved him least, and wanted his money most. In the end, Monica got a life with Robert Baker, just not the one she imagined. Instead of luxury, they will live in separate prison cells, their affair reduced to monitored calls and letters. This case is a chilling reminder that the greatest danger can come from those closest to us. The person sharing our home, raising our children, who promises to love until death. Sometimes, they mean it more literally than we know. Thanks for watching Unreal True Crime. For more global mysteries, check out our new channel, Latin Crimes, featuring gripping true crime from Latin America. Subscribe now for more investigations.